I want you to understand when Trump was in office, when Trump left office, Biden inherited 1.5% inflation, virtually inflation that was non-existent. Biden inherited vaccines. Say what you will about them. I think they suck, but say what you will about them. He inherited a game plan. The problem was he tried to force them on people, where Trump never did that. He also inherited, despite Trump shutting the economy down, he inherited an economy that was coming back, and that was coming back strong. People were getting back to work thanks to red states. No thanks to blue states, because the blue states were loving those emergency powers. Kathy Hochul is still in love with them, big time. In New York, I'm not sure if the same is true for California, but it's definitely the case in New York. You guys can change that. Vote for Lee Zeldin out there. Make sure all of these GOP senators that are in races across the country, Nevada, Laxalt, you got J.D. Vance. I'm not going to remember all of them. Ohio, you got Dr. Oz in where's that? In Pennsylvania, you got Rubio in Florida. Everywhere where a Republican senator is, please, you guys get involved. If you're not in that state, donate some money. We've got to make sure that we take back the Senate. I'm pretty confident we're going to take back the House, but I want to make sure that we take back the Senate. And I want it to be a resounding defeat for the left, because they're going to continue to be the left. Communists never go away, but I want them to be, I want them to lose their power for sure. I want them to be embarrassed about who they are, so that they have to at least go underground. And hopefully those of us that are conservatives, those of us that are Jews and Christians and people of faith and are conservative people, Republicans, will stand up, grow a set, and make sure that we get this country back in shape, and not pander to the left. The left is destroying this country. If you haven't figured that out by now, I don't know what to tell you. So let me get to this. We're going to compare inflation rates, or actually prices, midterm to midterm. So Trump's midterm, 2018 midterm for Trump, compared to the midterms that we're heading into for the Biden administration and for the Democrats, because I want you to understand, I'm going to repeat this over and over again. What we are experiencing are the results of the crime, the inflation. All of this are the results of Democrat policies, not just Joe Biden, Democrat policies. What we have found out is that Joe Biden was never Lunchbox Joe. He's always been a radical. And now he's just made that clear. I've known that for quite some time because I've researched them, but some of you might be just figuring this out. But if we go back midterm versus midterm, there's a young lady by the name of Kylie Griswold, and she works for the Federalist, or writes for the Federalist. And she did some grocery shopping for us. Now, she's in the Midwest. I understand that some prices will vary state to state, or region to region, if you will. And depending on where you shop, I get that. Maybe you'll buy off brands. Maybe it's not as much brand name. But in general, she used data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and compared them to what they were during 2018 compared to now. And she used her very own grocery bill as an example. She avoided produce, and she avoided produce simply because the Bureau of Labor Statistics doesn't keep consistent records for produce, because they have a very short shelf life. And depending on the season, the prices can vary widely. But she did account for meat and flour and sugar and bread and pasta and eggs and cheese. And I want you to understand what your neighbor is feeling. Sometimes we take this for granted because we sit there and I go grocery. Well, honestly, I forgot to say in my identity, I happen to be a husband and a father. Not always great, but I happen to be one. Part of my identity, too. So I don't always do the shopping. All right. But when I do go do some shopping, I can tell you that I buy products that I typically buy the same stuff all the time. I eat the same stuff, drink the same stuff. I'm just weird in that way. I don't like a lot of variety. I like to know what I'm getting. Even when I go to restaurants, I'm the only person that will go to a gourmet restaurant and straight up order a burger and fries. I don't like to be disappointed. I like to know what I'm getting. I'm kind of a cheapskate in that way. I don't want to pay for the bougie stuff. That's just how I roll. All right. That's just who I am. But if you consider milk, eggs, and bacon, all right, so we think about this 8% increase. Well, 8% increase would be nice, but it's simply not the case. It's simply not the case. In the midterms during Trump's era, in September of 2018, bacon cost $5 $5.50 per pound. So $5.50 per pound on average. This is according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. Today, under the Biden administration, under the Democrats in control of the Congress and spending our money like it's going out of style, $7.99. $7.99. That's a 45% jump. That's not 8%. That's 45%. See, this is the basics of life. These are the necessities of life. These are the things that we cannot do without, right? Food, milk is even worse. In 2018, under Trump, 1 gallon averaged $2.98 per gallon. Now you go to the grocery store, the average brand, the off brand milk on average, $4.89. That's a 70% increase. It's not just you feeling the pain. I want you to understand your neighbor is feeling the pain. Maybe there's a single woman or a poor family or something next door. You may need to help out if you can afford to do so, because now you're starting to feel the pain. You're starting to hear the pain, and you're no longer you're no longer compartmentalizing. It's not just you. Your neighbors are hurting. You can thank the Democrat Party for that. Then you go to eggs. Now, and consider this too. This is a great point by Kylie of the Federalist. Milk is an input into multiple other foods, whether it's cheese, whether it's sour cream, whether it's cream for your morning coffee. Now, I don't drink coffee, but I know many of you do, or more. Milk goes up, and it has a big effect on the prices of many other edibles. Then consider eggs. Eggs are some of the worst offenders. Americans paid $1.65 under Trump during his midterm election for a grade A large dozen of eggs. Today, that number is $3.49 on average. That's a 112% increase just from midterm to midterm.